Welcome to Community Matters, solutions to local issues and leaders that are making a positive difference. From your encouraging Spirit FM, here's your host, Jay Daniels.
Thanks for joining us once again for another edition of Community Matters. This is our third week of the series, Coming to America, the struggles and successes of resettlement. If you joined us last week, our guest was Jim Hirschberger, the director of Church World Services' Harrisonburg Refugee Resettlement Office. Jim introduced us to several of the families that they've helped bring to this country, and two of the people that Jim told us about were Lydia and Sergei. Today we hear part of their story, the story of how they left all that they knew in search of a new beginning in America. Lydia and Sergei spent most of their lives in Uzbekistan, a country that was part of the former Soviet Union. It's a landlocked nation which shares a southern border with Afghanistan. Lydia and Sergei have two children, a son and a daughter. We begin the conversation, however, on a lighter note. Here, Lydia tells us how she and Sergei first met 19 years ago.
It's a very funny story. He was my neighborhood. He rented one flat in my house, and it was many, many years ago. And if you remember, in the past time we didn't have computer disks. We have only diskettes.
Yes.
And my sister, she was in school right in that time. She needs to do some homework, and she needs this diskette. And my mom say, I think that guy can have a computer and diskettes because he has his office in their flat. And I don't want to do this, but my mom asked me very much time. I go in his flat and ask about this. It was our first meet, and after that we together. It was 19 years ago.
19 years, and you all have been married for 15.
Yeah.
So you dated for 4 years.
Yeah.
When did Sergei realize it was time to make something more serious out of this dating? When did he realize that, I guess, you were the one that he wanted to be with for the rest of his life?
In my birthday, it was on 17th of June, and he said, okay, I think it's time to get married.
and so he simply said it was a good time, and you agreed that it was.
Yeah, it was not very formal, like he gave me a ring and say, if you want to marry me. Because we were together and we have different times. And that time my father was very sick, and he was close to me and helped me because it was a very difficult time for our family. And that is why it was like we know about this. And after that, after 2 months, we had a wedding.
One could easily say that life has had its ups and downs since then. But while you were in Uzbekistan, both of you led very successful careers. Sergei was an engineer, and you were a neurologist in Uzbekistan. How did you come to serve as a neurologist with a career in medical field? What was your inspiration for doing something like that?
First of all, my first decision about work as a physician was when I was 5 years old. I decided to be a physician, and I play only in a physician. And when I studied my medical school, we have a rotation, different specialties. And when I studied neurologist, I prefer this because it's like a game. It's like a logical game. You can see a person, and then he explains some what happened to them. You can understand, because all neurological is like a math in the body, because you can understand what happened without any diagnostic test, because you can understand. It's really interesting for me, and you can see some results when you work with person. And neurologists in my country, we work more widely than here. Here is more close specialist, but in my country I can work with different person, different diseases, and I can help them.
With Sergei's work in engineering, tell us about some of the work that he did while in Uzbekistan.
Can I translate for him a little bit?
Своя организация, мы занимались строительством.
He has his own company, and they built some little houses and do something inside this house.
And how long have you served in the field of engineering? I mean, when did you realize, as she did when she was younger, that she wanted to be in the medical field? When did you realize that engineering was something that you were really good at?
Тоже с детства это было интересно.
Давать
людям.
It was interesting for him. Sorry, I translate for him.
Yes, ma'am.
It was interesting for him, and it's like he can do something for people. And another side, he can create something new. That is why he decided to do this work.
Видеть радость людей, что ты сделал, и им было это интересно, и они благодарят тебя.
People saw this, and they're happy, and they say thank you what you do, and that is why he decided to do this.
And with both professions, it allows you to use your mind, to use your skill and talent to truly make life better for a lot of people. Tell us about your faith. You are a Slavic Christian, and you are practicing Judaism. And when you two were married, a decision had to be made with regard to how your children would be raised. Tell us how that decision was made, that your children would be raised in a Jewish tradition.
Because honestly, I was the first in our family who married not on a Jewish person, and that is why it was like compromise.
Yes.
I said I married with not a Jewish, but my kids will be a Jewish person, and I prefer that kids have some religion, because it's I'm not very deep in religion.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm more
You're more spiritual than religious.
Yeah, but I think people should believe in something very. It's good, because all religion gives very kind and peaceful. But one thing I said, for me it's really closely to be Jewish person, and that is why I asked him to said okay and agree with me.
Mm-hmm. Bring us up to just a few short years ago. How many children again do you have?
I have 2 kids.
You have 2 children. And you all were rather comfortable in your careers in engineering, neurology. And your children were attending school, being brought up in a Jewish tradition. But changes in the government in Uzbekistan brought changes to how you were able to share your faith, to be able to raise them in that tradition. Tell us about some of the limitations that the government began to impose upon your people.
Before we had very good rabbi. He helped us, he talked with us, he organized different childcare and school for young people that we can meet with together and talk and spoke about Judaism. But some days he said it was true that all people in our country is really poor because our government didn't protect them. And after that, our government decided to said him need to go away because he has a citizen as a Israeli citizens, and our government said go away, and all this program was closed. This child care synagogue is now empty, and his daughter, our daughter of our president, tried to take this building because he wants to build something for herself. But it was like all Jewish people said, no, we cannot do this because it's our house for our. We met here. Meeting here, and you cannot do this. But now it's stay empty. Only maybe some old men visit the synagogue because we have no rabbi right now, Ashkenazi rabbi right now, and it was really sad because before my son can do something, and he came from child care, and we talk about our religions dates, and we do every week we celebrate Shabbat and like this. But after that, all of this stopped, and we can meet with another young Jewish people, and we talk about Judaism, about our tradition, how we can integrate in modern life, and we talk with our rabbi, and he explains some very interesting facts, how religion can connect with science. It was really exciting, but now it's all stopped.
And with that in mind, you had to make a decision. Do we remain here and deal with these limitations, or do we start a new life elsewhere. And it happens that you have relatives that lived here in the U.S. and you had visited here before, correct?
Yes, here is really people have freedom. They can do. I don't like when the people do all they want, because it's not honestly it's a good idea, because I want to jump from or do something, or you can understand what I mean. But
yeah.
Here, if you do something but in the law, you can do what you want. You can spend time with people with the same religion. You can talk about this, and nobody say you're bad and go to the prison for this. And here it's really people protect. They protect by law, they protect by police, and you can feel like in a safety place. And that is why it was a decision to move in USA. When I was the first time I was without kids, I was single. But I like this country because yes. At that time it was like a fun for me. But when I visit next time, I was with my son, and I think about his future. And a big thing, when I was with my son, we visit JMU University. The visitors, and I was really appreciate when a person who works there, professor, he found the time and help us. He explained some really interesting thing. You can never see in my country the same thing, because in my country, I don't know why, but some people who works in a university, they decided to talk with you like you're I cannot how to say this word, very impolite.
Yes, ma'am.
It's soft what I say, but I see auditorium and I say, oh, I want this future for my son, because I want that he study here.
And thus ends the first half of our conversation with Lydia and Sergei. Next week we'll continue the discussion as we talk about how they began their journey to America. We'll mention some of the struggles, setbacks, but most importantly, their successes in this new country. That's during our final segment of Coming to America, the struggles and successes of resettlement. Next time on Community Matters. For now, I'm Jay Daniels, thanking you for taking the time to join us, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.